Well, here's something my girl hasn't made in a while. Pizzelles. So she's already got her little instruction manual and all ready and getting prepped up, ready to start making pizzelles and maybe tell a story or two along the way. So this ought to be fun. So kick back and enjoy story time and pizzelle making with Kate and Steph. Oh, there's my girl.
It's me, Sub.
Getting ready to make. How you say it? How do you pronounce it?
What,
Pizzelles?
Pizzelles?
Or I always call them pizzelles.
No, whatever, Pizzelles. It don't matter.
No.
Yeah, people know what we're talking about. You know, the little cookies you get at Christmas time.
Yeah. And it's Christmas in July, so.
It's Christmas in July, Subs.
So yeah, why not? Let's have some pizzelles.
I got some little some small decorations out. Of course, nothing big. But I like Christmas in July.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty, Subs. I haven't done this one.
Here we go. Get everything situated there.
Yeah. We're getting situated.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
What, sugar? I think that's the only one I'm aware of. Yeah, we got a big old thing of it.
It's a thing.
Yeah. That's how they say it here in the South. I got a big old thing of sugar and a big old thing of flour.
Yeah, he got a big old thing. Yeah.
Well.
And 3/4 of a cup. So.
Of course, that's a big old cup, so.
Yeah. 3/4 of a cup is really almost a cup, but not quite like that. Just a little bit more. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, dump it in.
Dump it. Okay. Okay, the butter I'm going to have to melt. Melt the butter. And for the butter I need 1 stick, which is a 1/2 cup.
You want to separate that with the other smaller measuring cup that had the red top on it?
Oh, you mean this little one right here?
Oh, sorry, we're moving you out of the way. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, sorry, Subs. I forgot about you. I'm like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pretty much guess how much a 1/2 stick is, Subs. It's not a big deal or anything.
Oh,
A
well.
little more or less, it's not going to kill anybody.
Oh.
Yep. I never knew anybody who died from 1/2 stick.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, I got a little more than 1/2 stick of butter. I'm going to have a heart attack.
yeah. Take me to the hospital.
Oh, my. Yeah. Well,
I'll just guess. It's not a big deal.
you're my nurse. I'll just let you bathe me and feed me ice cream.
Yeah. Man used to let him bath, Subs. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him. Are you my nurse? Yes. Is it bath time? No. Well, when is it? You got plenty of time. Don't worry. Okay, because I want my bath. Well, yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be sure to wash. Never mind.
Yeah. They couldn't wait for that. Ugh.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
The joys of being a nurse.
What's wrong with you?
Ooh, baby.
Okay, gotta melt that and set it aside.
Wash the jewels.
Yeah. Scrub them. Is it time yet? No. When is it going to be time? Well, you have to wait your turn. There's other people ahead of you.
Yeah. It's like a merry-go-round. One after the other will get their bath time.
Yep. Well, usually it was the ones that are, worse off than them.
Oh, yeah.
They had to get their bath first. Because usually they had to have stuff unplugged before you could give them. They had to, undo some of their IVs and stuff. If the bag was going to be, if the bag was due to be changed anyway, we would just wait and then pull everything, just, pull the tubing and then give them their bath and then give them fresh, fresh fluids and everything. So it wasn't really a big deal.
Huh.
Nah.
Well, I enjoyed my bath times in the winter.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got bath time subs. Okay.
And, working hard, the muscles were sore, and bath time.
Okay.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. Damn you, baby.
Yeah. Being all mantical in the tub.
In the tub subs. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take care of those. I'll get lunch ready. 'Cause I'm helping.
He's helping subs.
Did you put the flour in?
What?
Did you put the flour in?
The flour don't go in yet.
Oh. I just saw it listed there. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Are you backseat? He's backseat bacon again, subs.
I cook very often.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can get the melted butter and
Dump it?
yeah. No, don't dump it, but just. Okay, we'll set that aside for a little while.
Still too warm?
Yeah, I gotta sift the flour and the bacon soup.
No.
Then
Now
put
get
those
that out of your
together.
way. Because I'm helping.
Okay. Okay. I gotta get the flour. I did flour subs.
You got it right here.
Still gotta get a bowl for it.
Oh. Oops.
He's doing it some more. Okay.
Ready to put the butter back in the...
Yeah, the butter can go back in. I just need a cup of flour. I haven't done this for a while, Subs.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know I was making them. I know a couple years ago I was making them for you to take to work
Yep, sure enough.
last year. I'm off camera, Subs. I'm over here measuring my cup of flour. Give or take it is.
Ooh, a little dusty.
Usually you just, measure it, subs. You don't really worry too much about it. Teaspoons of baking powder.
Not baking soda.
No, not baking powder. I have made that mistake before. When I didn't have baking powder, baking soda, that'll do just as well. No.
Afraid not.
Nope. That does not work. You have to have baking powder. But that's when I first started, cooking, so I didn't know. But I found out that it's not the same. So mix that together. Okay, you can get that butter and pour it slowly into here.
Oh, slowly.
Make it a mess, Subs.
Oh no. You can't have that.
Oh, it isn't up there. Is there one up there to have?
What's that then?
Okay, no, done. Okay, we must have used it all.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. I know we did have some vanilla. I guess we must have used it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna need the big spoon. Can you get me the big spoon, please?
Big spoon, like this?
No, the big black spoon right there.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh. There you go. Yeah, dump it in there.
You can spray that Pizzelle for me.
Oh. Well, I'll just reach over here and get the old vegetable oil. There we go.
Okay, now I'm gonna get a quarter cup of flour. Yeah, 3/4 of a cup of flour. And mix it with that. We're gonna put a cup in. And put in 3/4 of a cup. You're not supposed to do one at a time.
Oh, okay.
make it doughy.
Oh, darn that doughy.
I'm gonna need a plate to put it on.
Oh, you want to put them? Oh, okay. I was going to have Tupperware, but yeah, that's a good idea.
No,
Put them on there until they cool.
Till they cool off.
Well, I beg my pardon.
Yeah. Okay. Now I need a tablespoon. Do the top and the bottom?
Yep. Sure did. So you said you remembered a story when we saw that fabric?
Oh, yeah. As we all know, Subs, Verge was a mess. Now, my little sister and I are 11 months apart. Yeah. He was busy in them days, Subs. Yep, we're exactly 11 months apart. And,
So her birthday's a month ahead of yours.
yeah.
Well, basically 11 months behind yours, like same day?
No, her birthday, I think, is I believe it's the 17th.
Oh, okay.
So,
So 11 months and a week.
yeah, something like that. So when we were kids, we were little. You know, my mom used to dress us like twins, which I absolutely hated. Because we were not twins. I don't know where she got that from. But that's what she was doing, Subs. And I absolutely hated that. I mean, because everywhere we go, oh, aren't they cute? Oh, are they twins? No. And then we went to school. You know, are you two twins? No. Well, how come you got this? Shit, I don't know. Our mother does it.
Yeah.
It was annoying, Subs. It was annoying. I mean, it was a pain in the butt. But for some odd reason, old Verge thought that was cute. Yeah. Now, we used to have a family album, Subs, and it had all the little things that used to go on when we were little kids. Now, there was one time, my mom didn't like my dad's side of the family because they were bums. I mean, seriously, I mean, my dad was the only one who made something out of himself. Nobody else did. You know, they were bums. They really were. And so she really didn't want us around them when we were little kids because she wanted us to have a sense of responsibility. which his side of the family, we found out later in life, did not. And that's why she didn't like him. So anyway, this one time, my father talked my mom into letting his family come over to the house.
Oh, wow.
Which my mom was not all that crazy about. But, you know, she was like, well, okay. So this was back in the 70s. It was in the early 70s. I know that. And so they had their little, you know, get together or whatever. Subs. She was right. They were bums. Now we had there was like a little path between the front of the house, and you go down beside the house, and that path would lead to the yard. His cousins were down there smoking weed on the side of my mother's house. Now, Subs, this is why she didn't want them around. You know, stuff just like this. So, you know, she got mad about that. You know, and her and my dad got into it. And so, needless to say, they were never allowed to the house again. That was the first and only time they were ever allowed at our house. And then on top of that, now, like I said, people know how their family members are.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And you know if your family is a bum or not. And if your family's a bum, you know, and you made a nice life for yourself, there comes a time when you have to shut certain people out of your life, or else they will drag you into the abyss with them. Now, like I said, we had a huge family album that had all of our pictures in it. You know, going to visit Santa Claus and this and that. And of course, what did they do? They were ripping pictures out. And my mom didn't know. She had no idea, because my dad asked my mom if they could see the family album. So this was all his fault. And she was like, yeah, but keep an eye on it. You know, because those were pictures like when we were babies and, you know, stuff like that. Subs. The next day, no, it was that same night. You know, that's when my mom had thrown everybody out. That happened before my mom threw everybody out. Everybody had to leave. And my mom went around. She asked my dad, "Where's the book?" And he didn't even know. When my mom finally, now, Sub, we had a book that was this thick. That's how thick it was. When my mom got it back, it was this thick.
Half the size.
They had ripped the pages out of the family album.
Wow.
Needless to say, my mom was fit to be tied, because those pictures were gone for good. And of course, nobody's going to admit to, oh, my dad caught hell. Oh my God. The only thing that could have been brought down more wrath down on his head was God himself. Because my mom lit into him about his trifling ass family. Oh my God. It was terrible. You know, because we didn't know what was going on. You know, because we didn't really, you know, we didn't bother with them. So we really didn't know what was going on until years later. You know, but we knew that day about something about the family album. But we didn't know until earlier, you know, later on, what had happened. That they had actually stole the pictures out of the family album.
Mm-hmm.
And they were smoking weed on the side of the house. Yep. You know, my mother was hollering at my father, you know, talking about, this is why I told you your family's nothing but a bunch of bums, that they don't want anything, they don't have anything, and they don't know how to act. And if you want to be with them again, you have to leave and go to their house. They can't come here anymore, ever. Because they don't know how to act. And that they never did. We never saw them again. Oh, my mother was so mad because the book was gone. It was all tore up and ripped up. I mean, it was old to begin with because we were like preteens at that time. So the book was old anyway. It was from the early 60s. Late 50s, early 60s. This was the 70s. So you know the book was old. And yep, that's what they did. So they were never, ever allowed back at my mother's house ever again.
Wow.
Because of that. And she was right. They were bums. You know, because my mother's family, everybody worked. You know, they worked at the mills, you know, or they did something. But, you know, they didn't sit around expecting my grandparents to take care of them. Oh, no, 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 no. Well, first of all, they wouldn't have went for that anyway. But, you know, no. Mm-mm. So we were always around my mother's family. We weren't allowed around. Well, my father's family wasn't allowed anywhere around us because they were bums, and they were. And I'm gonna tell you one about my my grandfather. We called him Papa Charlie because that was his name, Charles. So one time, this is when we were little kids in Homewood, and he would come around. He would get on my mom's nerves, and my mom didn't suffer fools. That must be where I get it from, because she did not suffer fools. And he came to the house one day, and my dad wasn't there. My dad was at work. So my mom told him, like, well, you know, well, Pete's not here right now. You know, he's up at work. Oh, okay. Well, get in the room and make me a sandwich or something to eat.
You know where this is going.
Mama said, what did you say? You heard me. Get in the room and make me something to eat. I'm hungry. Oh, okay. Subs, in those days we had streetcars that went up and down the street. Remember them tracks for streetcars?
Yeah. Before the buses?
Yeah, that's way before the buses. That was way before the buses. But we had streetcars. There used to be a streetcar garage on Frankstown. That's where all the streetcars would go at night. And so Mama was like, what are you talking about? I'm hungry. So get in the room and make me something to eat. She said, you know what? You need to leave. You need to leave. You need to get out of my house. Your house? Shoot, this is my son's house.
Wow.
What a moron. She said, you got 2 seconds to get up and get out of my house. This ain't your house. This is my son's house. Subs. Now, Papa Charlie, he was skinny, you know, he was tall and skinny. My mother grabbed him around his throat, opened up the front door, drug him out on the porch, and kicked him in the ass out in front of a streetcar. Yes, she did.
Wow.
So he comes screaming and hollering, talk about how she was crazy and how he's going to tell his son. So she's like, well, you tell him whatever you want. She said, but don't you ever come back to this house again, because you don't know how to act, and I'm going to hurt you. So you don't ever come back here. Now, if your son is here by himself, that's different. Then she said, no, as a matter of fact, no, you can't. He has to come and see you. You can't come here anymore, because you don't know how to act, and I'm not going to jail for you. Oh, he was cussing and counting how you going to tell my father, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you just wait, yabba dabba doo, blah, blah. So what he did is that he went and found, you know, a payphone, because they still had payphones back in those days. So he went to the nearest payphone. I don't remember where it was exactly. But it wasn't too far from the house.
They weren't using those cans with strings back then?
No, they just got rid of carrier pigeons.
Oh, okay.
Back then. So this fool actually went and called my father on his job. Now, what is he supposed to do? So, you know, next thing my mom knew, she's getting a call from my dad. You know, talking about how Papa Charlie had called him because Mom threw him in front of a streetcar. And he said, what's going on? What's it? So she told him what was going on. she said, your father can't come here anymore because he don't know how to act. I am not a slave. I am not his wife. I'm not even related to him. He doesn't come down here making demands, telling me get in the kitchen and get him something to eat. Where the hell he think is this? Don't say Jen's garage. Get out of here. No, you don't. This don't. No, it's not a bed and bath here. She said no, he don't come here no more. That's it.
Bed, bath, and demand.
Yeah. And you got to throw it in front of the streetcar. It's like, what a moron.
Oh, man. I'll be sure not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the kitchen. Make me some pizzelles.
Yeah. Make me a pie.
Make me a pie.
See what I tell you about people and their family, subs? But see, my dad, he knew better. Because my mom, she didn't play.
Oh, my goodness.
And my mom had big brothers. Her brothers were big men. They wouldn't have done no skinny ass Papa Charlie. All they had to do was just blow, say, whoosh, on him and his ass go sailing across the street somewhere. It looked like a kite. But yeah, true story.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a mess. Old Papa Charlie. That man lived to be damn near 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
And didn't get hit by a streetcar in all that time?
Well, he almost did.
He almost did.
You should have heard him. Are you crazy? What is wrong with you? What the hell is your problem? Blah, 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 blah. Because the neighbors were all sitting, they were all laughing. They were all sitting out on the porch laughing. You just wait. You just wait. I'm going to go tell my son, I don't give a damn who you tell. What's he supposed to do? I'll throw his ass in front of a streetcar. I had a crazy family, subs.
Wow.
Yeah, but no, they didn't take no mess. Especially my mom. My mom was one of them that, nope. Who you talking to? You. Oh, okay. All right.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, and hold the door. Well, I put my foot in your skinny ass. I had a nut house. I had a nutty house, subs. I had a nut house. Yep.
Wow.
That was crazy. Yep. Everybody in the family heard about that. Everybody's laughing. Then when my dad came home, because I believe he was only, I'm trying to think, was he working 2 jobs then? See, I don't remember because I was a little kid. I mean, real little. So I don't remember. But I remember my mom telling us about this when we were older. We was dying. Old Papa Charlie acting like a fool. Mm-hmm. Yep. That man was a mess.
Wow.
Yeah, he was something else. But my mom's side of the family, they were something else too. But my mom's family, everybody worked. Everybody worked. Nobody was on welfare, food stamps, everybody worked. I mean, the husbands and the wives, everybody worked. Well, my mom didn't work. My mom stayed home with us kids. Well, she didn't have to work. My mom didn't have to do anything she didn't want to do. But she still did. She took care of the house. She took care of us kids. My mom painted, she wallpapered, she laid tile and carpet. She did everything. Mostly while my dad was at work because, well, we all know the story of Pete the Vet. So, no.
Screwing up everything except heart surgeries.
So, I mean, he knew his job. I mean, even my sister, we was talking the other day, it was like, well, he knew medicine. Dad knew what he was doing. But when it came to everything else, hell no. He did not. I mean, he tried. He and my brother Mike was trying to make excuses. He had no excuses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he may not, but he tried. Yeah, and failed miserably.
There is no, was it Yoda? There is do or do not. There is no try.
It should have been do not.
Yeah, do not.
Well, there was some stories we used to hear about my uncle, especially my Uncle George. Now, my Uncle George, he was in World War II, and he was captured by the Japanese, and he was missing in action. They didn't know where he was at first. So he was missing in action and presumed dead. Okay, so the government, they came to my grandmother's house, the chaplain and some officer, I don't remember his rank. And of course, I wasn't even there, but, we were told the story. Because I think at that time, I don't think my mom wasn't even a teenager then. She was a little kid then. And they came to the house and, told my grandparents that my uncle was missing in action, presumed dead, So, of course, my grandmother, she got, she was crying and got all upset and everything. Everybody was upset because they thought my Uncle George was dead. They didn't know that he had been captured because he was on a ship that had been torpedoed. So the ship went down, and a lot of the guys didn't make it, but, my uncle was some of the few guys that did. I don't remember the number of people or anything like that. I don't think they told us that. I don't think he told, because he did not discuss it at all. He didn't discuss World War II, period, with anybody. He just, when he came home, I guess that was just something he would rather forget. But from what they were saying, even my grandma, he wasn't the same after that, as he was when he went in. He was totally different because of what all, that he went through. So they just, they never said anything. But my Uncle George challenged my grandfather one time. And now I loved my Uncle George. My Uncle George was a big man. And he, I don't know, he would just do, he was the equivalent of the damn fool girl. That was my Uncle George. He was the equivalent of that.
Damn fool uncle?
Yeah, my damn fool uncle. And so this one particular time, I don't know if this was before he went to war, before he was drafted and all of that. I think it was. Or not long after he came home. I don't really remember. And my mom's not around no more to clarify it, so I'm gonna say it was after, because he would have been in his 20s. So my grandfather wanted him to do something, and he didn't want to do it. So I'm thinking maybe it's before he got drafted. I'm thinking, because I think he was still home. Because my grandfather would have told him to go home, but because he didn't, I don't remember hearing that part. I'm thinking my uncle was a teenager at the time, and my grandfather wanted him to do something, and he didn't want to do it. And so he said, I don't have to do nothing. He said, oh, really? Yeah. So you think, he said, go ahead, old man, just get out my face. And he said, what did you say? He said, I said, go ahead, old man, go on and get out my face. Oh, okay, so what are you trying to say? Are you saying you think you can take me? Sure, I can take you. Yeah. And here come my grandmother. Now, Howard. He said, no. He just said he could take me. But he didn't mean, he said, he's a man. He meant it. He said, oh, so you think you could beat me? Of course. My grandfather said, oh, okay. Now, my grandfather was a policeman. Back in the days when they used to beat the shit out of you.
I mean, they still do, but they got away with it.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah.
And so he said, "Oh, okay. So you think you can beat me? Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, let's go down in the basement." So here comes my grandmother. Now, Howard, he said he's a man. He just said he can beat me. So I'm gonna give him a chance to see if he can beat me. So they went down in the basement. Not even 2 seconds later, here come my grandfather back up the steps. They say he came up the steps, turned off the light, shut the door, left my uncle sprawled out. Left my uncle sprawled out on the basement floor. He said, my grandma's like, oh, Howard, you killed him. He said, will you knock it off? Ain't nobody killed him. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Well, I'm good. He said, you ain't ain't going nowhere. Leave him down there. No, he's a man. Leave him down there. And then when he wake up, tell him to do what I told him to do. He said he sprawled out down there on the basement floor because he thought he could take my grandfather. What a maroon. But I loved my Uncle George. I did. Yeah, he's been gone for, oh my goodness. What is this, 2020? He's been gone for at least over 25 years.
Wow.
He was, he was home, sleep, and he had a heart attack in his sleep, so he never woke up. So he never knew what was going on. He had come home from work, got something to eat, went to bed and never got up again. But I enjoyed my Uncle George. He was always doing something, subs, to aggravate my mom. So of course, us kids are going to think that's hilarious. So, but like I said, my mom didn't suffer fools. But my mom was his, favorite sister, so, she could get away with stuff that nobody else could. Because my aunt's husbands were afraid of my Uncle George. Because my Uncle George had, like, superhuman strength.
Oh, gee.
So, my Uncle George had put tires on my aunt's boyfriend's car, and the boyfriend didn't pay my Uncle George. Now, everybody knew this was after my uncle had come back from the Navy, Oh, I forgot to tell you about that. I forgot to finish that story. Okay, they sent my grandparents, a check, death benefits for my uncle, and they thought he was dead, presumed dead. But when they found him, subs, the government sent my grandparents a bill. They wanted that money back. Can you believe that? Yeah, they put my grandparents through all of that, and then on top of that, once they found out it was a screw up on their part, even though they should have been able to keep it just from what he went through. But no. Nope. No, they wanted that money back. I think that was a damn shame. That you would sit there and put that family through something like that, and then, you want to take advantage of it after you gave them horrible news. But, yep, that's what happened.
So back to the tires.
Oh, yeah. So, my aunt's boyfriend, like I said, he owed my uncle money. So what he did is that he went up my Aunt Mart's house and was hiding from my Uncle George. But my Uncle George knew where he was. So I don't know why he was trying to hide, because he just caught him out in the street. And so he went up there and he was knocking on the door. And he told him, I know you're in there. He says, so what you better do, and the part about it, subs, is that the car he drove into my aunt's house had the tires on that my uncle wanted him to pay him for. Now, how stupid are you?
Oh, shit.
I don't know what the arrangement was, for payment or how this was. I never heard that part. So I don't know what all, how all this started. But if anything, my uncle did it for my Aunt Mart, not so much for her boyfriend, but more for my Aunt Mart. So anyway, so he went up to my Aunt Mart's house, and he's banging on the door, being polite, banging on the door, saying, Lloyd, you better come out here and pay me, man, because, I'm not going to be knocking on this door forever. Now, they knew my uncle was already nutty, so I don't know why they bothered with him, not giving him his money and stuff like that. So, he wouldn't come out. So my uncle got tired of waiting. He's like, oh, okay. So he went over and ripped the back tires off of Lloyd's car, because Lloyd wouldn't pay him for them tires. So he ripped the tires off. Yep. He ripped them off and took them and put them in the back seat or trunk, whatever it was, car, and drove off with them. Yep. That was crazy. Yep.
Oh, my.
Mr. Mertales and a family.
Well,
Yep.
I'll be sure not to, you know. Well, I already got new tires on the van anyway, but
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, I need some money. I know better than that. Wow.
You need some tires.
Yeah. I'm going to try to help here.
Are you gonna try to help?
Yeah, I'm going to try to make my own
Oh.
Pizzelles. Yeah. See if I can do this without screwing up.
All you gotta do is put battery in there and shut it.
Yeah, well, you know. I try not to screw up, but, you know. That was pretty easy. We'll see how they turn out.
Yeah.
I learned it from you.
Yeah. We were nut subs. But I enjoyed my Uncle George. I really enjoyed him. You know, because he didn't really want anything. You know, he would come by, he would visit my mom, or I would see him on the bus, you know, and I would go sit beside him and we would talk a little while. You know, I really enjoyed him. I was really sorry when he passed away. But, I mean, he would want you to be sorry, but, you know, he never went to any of my grandparents' funerals. I mean, he went to the funeral home, but he couldn't, you know, he couldn't go any further. He didn't go in at all. So I stayed out in the hall with him. You know, and when my grandmother passed away, I stayed with him up in their apartment while everybody was at the graveside and, you know, all this other stuff. Because he couldn't take it. So I was like, okay, you know, well, I'll stay with you. You know, and I did. It should be, you check it.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. I got some big ones.
Yeah, they're almost like waffles.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Well, I made my own Pizzelles.
Yep. Because my grandmother, like, she could control my Uncle George, her and my mom. Nobody else could. Well, my uncles, you know, they each had their own life, you know, so they didn't really interfere in each other's life or anything like that. And the only time my grandmother did is if she knew you were doing something you shouldn't be doing. You know, but sometimes my grandmother would interfere in her son's life and they did not like it. And they would let her know, hey, Ma, I'm grown. Yeah, and they were grown and gone. And they had kids. But if they were doing something my grandmother didn't think they should be doing, she would tell them. But then they would tell her, you know, Ma, do you want me to stop coming here? Because if you keep nagging me, that's exactly what's going to happen. You know, I'm a grown man now. Now, when I was in your house, I had to do what you said. I'm not in your house no more. I don't have to do what you say anymore. So please stop, or I'll stop coming. And that's when my grandfather had to step in. Because he usually didn't say anything. He would just sit in his easy chair, you know, recliner, and he put his feet up, you know, reading the paper. It was only every blue moon that my grandfather would actually, you know, say something to my grandmother. But, yep. The daughters, she really didn't, you know, of course they would, you know, call her about stuff, but, you know, but it was usually her sons. Not so much my Uncle George, more my Uncle Donald and my Uncle Bob. She was mostly out after them all the time. You know, telling them they shouldn't be doing what they were doing. When they shouldn't have. She was right, but, you know, they were grown men.
You don't know me.
Oh, she knew. She knew. But, yeah. But they mostly, you know, wouldn't say too much until they figured, I guess, my grandmother was infringing on them or something. You know. But other than that, you know, they would mostly just laugh about it. You know. Yeah. I had a nutty family, son.
Huh.
I tell you.
That's nutty.
Yeah. Especially throwing my grandfather, you know, kicking his ass out in front of a streetcar.
Wow.
Yeah. But he should have known better than that. Get in the room and make me something to eat. Make me a pie. Huh? I'm hungry. Get in here and make something to eat. I can't see anybody doing that in anybody's house. But that's my son. That's my son's house.
Oh, well.
Your son don't take care of this house. I do. So? Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fine boy howdy?
He thought so. Talking shit to a McCune. Are you crazy?
Wow.
She didn't give a damn about him. He reminds me of my tattletale sister. Even she admitted to Richard the other day she was a tattletale. Yeah, I was a tattletale. Yeah, you were. Yes, you were.
That's too funny. That's what I told her. Yeah, I'll be sure to, not tell her anything because she might beat my ass.
You tattling. Well, there's nobody for you to tattle to.
I know.
I don't care.
I'm telling. Who am I telling? I don't know.
If Verge was you would tattle to her.
Yeah. What would she do?
Nothing. Tell me stop acting like a damn fool. But if I didn't do that for her, why would I do it for you?
No, well, because you love me.
Not if you tattling.
Oh.
I know she's a damn fool. I told you not to marry her. But no, you talk about love.
Yeah.
How you gonna marry somebody who don't believe in gas?
All comes back to gas.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's gas. That's what it was. That's why my uncle thought he could beat my grandfather. It
Wow.
was gas.
That's too funny.
Ain't nothing to do with no gas.
Well, there's a couple little nuggets there. And
Okay.
I guess we'll just wrap up this Pizzelle and story time.
Yeah, we got a whole
Slew of
slew of them subs.
Yeah.
Got a whole bunch of them there.
something to munch on because it's Christmas in July for my
It's
girl.
Christmas subs.
And tomorrow's our second anniversary, so we'll
Yeah.
be doing some.
Tomorrow's our anniversary subs.
So we'll be doing stuff for our anniversary words and,
Yeah.
and all. So,
Yeah, I gotta wait for that to cool off.
oh, okay.
What?
I'll pass the lid. Put the lid on here, and we'll wrap up this here video. So,
We're wrapping it up, subs.
yep. So we'll be
More
enjoying.
wacky stories, my crazy ass family subs.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of Pizzelles for
Yeah.
a while. So.
Yeah, that only he'll put that in his lap subs, and they'll be gone shortly.
Yeah, I'll be gone probably by tonight. No, just kidding.
Could be.
No, I'm not gonna stuff myself on Pizzelle. So
Yeah.
so
That is
anyway,
the disbelief in
Yeah.
our voice subs.
yeah, you can believe me.
Oh, I can believe you.
Yeah.
Must be gas.
Oh wow, man, that gas. I gotta get that under control.
Yeah.
Like
See what
that.
made my uncle out.
Wow.
He laying on the floor with the lights out.
That's
Oh,
funny.
you killed him. Howard, what did you do? He's a man.
Yeah.
I treat him like a man.
Yeah. There
I
you
think you killed him. We'll let him lay there.
go. He'll be all right in the morning.
Yeah, he let him lay there all night. No, he just let him lay there till he woke up.
And then kicked him out of the house.
No, he made it. He just told him go. I don't even remember what it was he was supposed to do. That my mom had said he was supposed to do.
Wow.
But yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Another cooking vid and story time. So until next time.
It was story time.
Yeah. Adios.
Bye, Sam.